Good morning, Jennifer. What are you doing?
I'm trying to fit. You're like this Max Headroom. I was like, what is happening right now?
I have no idea. We were doing good, and then all of a sudden it started glitchy. I rebooted, and it's still wonky. So
all that star power over there. I'm sure that's
it's the star power.
Yes. Everything in your house.
So everybody out there in the Omniverse, let us know. I don't know if this is like isolated to me and Jen, because for her, I'm like super glitchy or pixelated. And for me, you're doing the Max Headroom too, just a little bit, like, and then it's like you're pop, lock, and drop it, girl. Watch out. So we're gonna have some fun today, Jennifer Lacey.
Yes.
We're talking about this thing. What is this thing?
Oh my gosh! So let's okay. We're gonna back it up a little bit. So we're talking about how to guard our time and set. So we can set our relationships in order. But it's part of a relaunch of how we got started, Jesse. It's kind of cool because I was thinking about this as I was kind of writing my posts and stuff for the event. Is like almost 4 years ago, you said, I have this idea. And then you and I got together and we started talking about the 5S, in love, love letters and all these things. And so we started doing live streams on these topics. And then from that, you and I, we had people that showed up and then it grew and then they're like, what's next? And we're like, we don't have a plan for anything next. And so that is what led to us launching No BS with Jen and Jess, which again, I mean, we've been doing these live streams for almost 4 years. And so we thought, let's bring it back because we've had a lot of experiences in the last 4 years. We've got a lot more tribe members now than we did when we started this conversation. And so we're kind of going back and digging into some of these topics that we want, our newer audience members and our new tribe members to hear, but also to contribute to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let me recap what I think I heard. Okay. This is a kind of a relaunch. It's connected to some miraculous thing that happened that we totally didn't expect, like at all. Did I get that part right?
Absolutely. There was no plan, and it blew up way bigger than we could have even planned for.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I know. I heard that there's like a playlist on YouTube of all of those original conversations.
See, I'm not sure why we keep bringing that up. Like we're doing a relaunch. So sometimes when you want to rebrand things or you want to redo something, there's a reason. And so we're relaunching these live streams because the live streams is how we started. So we have 4 years of experience right now going into these conversations. But when we launched them, I had 0. So the growth and evolution that's happened that we are now contributing to our tribe members is much better now than it was back then. We don't need to go back there.
Why not, Jen? I mean, reflect and all that stuff. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, I found it.
No, I don't even know what it is, but it cannot be good.
Oh, I found something. Let's just leave it at that. Now I need to get focus back.
Yes, focus.
It's one of the Chewy doing marketing the 5S's.
I love it.
So I dropped it in the chat. Let's see if people can get a hold of it. But yes, so to your point, and folks out there in the Omniverse, good morning. Thank you for showing. Oh, looky, we already got Miss Izzy. She says, y'all looking good, not glitchy on her end. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate you, my sister. And then look, Jen and Jess said, hey, check out the playlist. That's the link to the early live streams. And those live streams were just supposed to be a conversation, and it turned into a book, and it turned into No BS with Jen and Jess. And so now we're relaunching, and there's a little bit of an angle or a different angle that we're exploring. to see what kind of interest there is. And if it's even helpful to people out there, I feel, right? Like, is it going to resonate with the tribe? And so this conversation is relative to the second S, which is set, right? Last time we talked a little bit about sort. This time we're going to talk about setting in order, particularly around our personal our relationships, professional and personal. And we've had 4 years to learn, right? And practice. So Jen, like, are you an expert now?
No.
No?
I'm still learning. I think every time I think I have something figured out, then I run across something and then I screw something up and go, well, you obviously don't have it all figured out because you just overreacted. You just completely, did something that you're like, better than that. Like what was the cause of that? And it's because we're human and we have emotions and we have past and we have experiences that cause us to act a certain way in different places.
Yes. The key thing that you just said, Jen, that I think I want to help people like give themselves permission to just be human. Like, you're going to screw up. You're going to have emotions. Like they're freaking every day. I'm emotional. I'm hungry and I'm sleepy every day. No matter what I do, I am overtaken by those emotions. And it's because I am human. And you already know I'm like a workaholic. And so it's dumb, but I'm like, God damn it, I got to eat. I'm not like, ooh, I'm like, shit, I got to stop what I'm working on so I can eat. And like, God darn it. I got like last night I was tinkering around. I did a experiment.
Okay.
So rebranding the Do the Damn Thing Time Mastery experience, because Do the Damn Thing is already like copyrighted and blah, blah, blah. Want to guess what the winner is?
Oh gosh, I don't even want to guess. I probably couldn't even come close to it.
It's the self-first framework.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Like the guy had a bunch of options, run a bunch of ads, and that one I'm like, it's not the most exciting thing, but it's the thing that most people are in like clicking on. Like,
because it's the things we suck at the most.
Yes. So anyways, I was jacking around with that last night. I'm like, okay, a little bit more. And then it's like 11:45, which is way past my bedtime. Like, son of a bitch, I got to go to sleep. Like, I don't think of those things as like, yay, right? So I'm a sicko. Anyways, because we're human. So there's things that naturally we're going to have responses, reactions to other people, and building these habits such as guarding your time to set your relationships in order.
Yes.
Intellectually, Jen, it's a no-brainer.
Yes.
Right? Like, duh. But actually doing it is difficult.
It is.
But it's a huge deposit in terms of our relationships with ourselves. Would you say, Jennifer?
I would say absolutely.
Okay. Well, before we slip too far into it, Jen, we got some housekeeping.
We do. So again, if you're out there and you're listening, you've been with us for a while, please let us know, put a comment in there so we know you're out there listening. We know it's a holiday weekend, so you may be on the boat, you may be getting ready in the car, things like that. That's fine. But just let us know you're out there. And if this is the first time that we've come across your feed or the first time that you are hearing us, we do ask you to put a blue heart in the comment. So you're not having to make a super big commitment. We just want the blue heart there because it allows us, Jesse and I, to kind of recognize you and bring you up on the screen so that we can say, hey, good morning. But also if our tribe members that are listening, even in the, if they rewatch it later and they see a blue heart, they can go and connect with you on the socials and they can follow your content, they can engage with it. And so it just grows our community.
Yeah, blue hearts. Let us know because we want to support you. We want to continue to expand the community. Yes. And if you're hungover, it's okay. Just catch the replay. And also,
we'll get you going. We'll if you're a little hungover, but you need your brain to start getting re-engaged, just jump into the conversation.
Agreed. I'm still trying to find the darn link, Jennifer.
Obviously, you're very distracted. So let's focus on this, and then we can share that in the throughout if we need to.
Boom. Okay, I'll behave. Next time I'm gonna have the damn thing ready for everybody. But you
Next
can
time,
search "Lean in Love," and you'll be able to see the squirrels on the screen from way back in the day. Okay. Now, also reminder: when you drop a comment in the chat, ask a question. Oh, look, we got Mr. Nick King says, "What's up? What's up, Mr. Nick?" Just like Nick did. That gets your name in the randomizer, which means at the top of the hour, we're going to hit the little button. It's going to kind of raffle through every single person that made a comment on the LinkedIn, on the YouTube, and on the Facebook. And if your name gets selected, you're going to get a free seat at the upcoming Emotional Bungee Jumpers and Cultivation Crew sessions. And it's fun because the Cultivation Crew, we're wrapping up. Did you cut your hair?
I did not, but I think it's probably because it's in the back of my head versus in the front.
Okay. I'm like, got it. Thanks. Sorry, distracted. We're wrapping up the first 4 experiences, right? So we're wrapping up on reflection, and then we're launching. We're going to reconfigure the experience. So next month we'll be launching the 2-month cycles between the different little power skills that we're working on building. So folks, just throwing that out there. If you're curious, hit me up. I'll answer your questions, or hit up some of the other frequent offenders that are typically on here. Mr. Jim Guntorian. Heads up, Jen and Jim. I'm coming to DFW. Warn the authorities. I'll be flying in. I think I'm flying in Tuesday evening. Some Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be there for a few days. So, I got my shots. I'll be all right. But anyways, drop your comments in the thing. We'll get you in the randomizer so that you can come and experience those community engagements, and then decide if you want to continue forward or not. So, Jennifer Lacey, we are talking about guarding your time, set, right? The second S. Set in order. And so what's the relationship between set from the 5 S's and guarding your time? Like, what's the connection there?
Well, for me, I mean, we talk about a lot of things. For me specifically, because the sort, like, you're trying to figure out, that's the first S. You're trying to figure out like what needs to go, what needs to stay. For me, set is directly tied to the conditions that you are creating. And so for me, it's not like, okay, here's now the rules of what we have to do. That and set sometimes can be that. That can be like, okay, I've gotten rid of these things. Now this is what I have to do. And I've learned that for me, set is what can I put in place that doesn't just go, here's what we have to do, but what am I doing? Whether it's creating something for, to help someone else, understand and buy into it, or what conditions am I creating where people go, ooh, that helps, or ooh, that brings a lot of value, and then they kind of get pulled into it. So it's not so much. It then becomes this step 1, step 2, step 3. But what are the conditions that I'm creating that pull people into?
Okay. So what I heard is this: sort of like you evaluated your relationships, your experience, like your life in the relationships, right? We're not talking about the dishwasher. We're talking about human beings. It's okay. These things are valuable. I need to keep them. These things are less than valuable. I need to sort them out.
Yep.
It's like, okay, now I've kind of cultivated the relationships or the group of people that are going to help me thrive and grow, etc. People that are important to me, the people I care about. That doesn't mean that I'm treating them the best, but they're just the people that are important. I'm going to learn how to treat them better. That's the sort phase. Then we get into set. And it's like, okay, now how are we going to do life with them? All right. And so we need to, I think what I'm hearing is like, okay, now there's this. I know what that is.
Mhm.
but I've got to set myself in order,
Oh,
have
yeah.
some systems and stuff in place so that I can be better with them and for them. What do you think
Yes.
about that?
I agree. And so one example, which is a personal example, is in my house, my work requires me to travel a lot. And so there are things that have to be put in place. Obviously, when my girls were younger, a lot more things I had to coordinate ahead of time. But now, even as much as they can kind of self-sustain, they do need to know when I'm going to be out of town, so that they can make plans. And it was originally just kind of like, hey, I'm traveling Thursday, Friday. Then it became kind of a calendar on the refrigerator, like a monthly calendar on, hey, kind of here's what my month looks like. And then it went to a wall calendar for the whole year. So
Yep.
it went through me blocking out, I'll be in Virginia these 3 days. I'll be in Birmingham these 3 days. We're taking family vacation this week. So they were able to look at it holistically and know kind of, okay, I got to make sure I've got this covered, or, hey, mom, I've got this babysitting thing coming up, or, hey, I've got this thing I want to go to with my friend, but we're also going to do something. So it started fostering conversations on just what the plans were. And then the magic happened. So I sent you a picture of one. My daughter is got about to start some really crazy summer camp and things, going into school, going into high school. And
Yep.
one day I come out and she has completely filled the calendar up with every practice, every like tryouts, every game, every little thing that she is going to be required to have to be at. She has completely filled the calendar out without me going, Alex, here's the calendar, go fill it out, make sure I have everything on there, because that was how I was doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a couple of things. One, Miss Izzy, she's like, oh, thanks for explaining that, because her brain set boundaries and schedules, which, yes,
It's true.
it's true. But like that's the end result. That's not the beginning, right?
Yes.
And the reason I want to say that is because perfect example. I was in a relationship, and part of the problem, well, I was the problem, but one of the things, right? One of the less than awesome things was I wouldn't call or email or text. Like I wouldn't communicate. When I was traveling and working, I was like my blinders on, and like for real, my brain doesn't say, hey, check in with your people, right? My brain says freaking work, learn, be awesome. You'll talk to them when you're not working. And so I set a schedule of when to text and call. Like I set reminders on my calendar, because if I don't, I'll forget. And it didn't have the impact that I was looking for. I'll just say that, right? Because I hadn't done the front end work, which I think in your situation is you're already operating in this, through this, communicating through this venue, meaning that yearly or annual visual calendar, which invited people in to play with that and understand, like, oh, that's the language you speak. Let me speak that language too. So yes, it is set boundaries and schedules, but it's not just that. Like that's the outcome of setting the things in order. And how am I tracking, Jen? What do you think about that?
You're saying it. And so it's for us, and I'm going to translate it like for construction. I want to put it in the box of the policies and procedures. We have policies and procedures that tell us this is how to do work. And if we go and do step 1, step 2, step 3, those are we have something that we can say, we do these things and then we're going to have success. But rarely in those policies and procedures does it say you're going to interact with a human in this aspect. You're going to have to listen in this aspect. In this point, like those things are not driven in. And so that's the part that we have to like make sure we think about, and what does that look like early on, so that when we do have something, a schedule, or we do have something put in place, that there are human elements that are going to be coming in and out of it that could change the direction of some of the things that maybe we in our mind think are the outcomes. Does that help?
Yes, total. I think so. Like on one end, I think it helps because it kind of covers the whole spectrum. On the other end, I like it because it kind of muddies it up. Like it's not
Mhm.
one silver bullet. It's not one straight answer. Why? Because there's other freaking human beings involved. Now, some amazing announcements. I don't want to like ignore Jim saying good morning, because on the original live streams,
Mhm.
Jim shared this idea, this point about him and his wife having a calendar on the fridge and how they were use that to communicate, like where he's going to be, what's important, the kids. He's got an amazing son. He spends a lot of time watching hockey with them, or maybe watching cheerleaders. I don't know. But it was a mechanism to help minimize the friction that we add to our relationships, right? So the schedule served a purpose. It wasn't like have a schedule and then things are going to be beautiful, right? It's and I think that's what we're talking about. You're kind of toggling back and forth. Now, another announcement: the link to that original, the whole live stream series of 5S love letters, just somehow happened to make it into the chat. So, folks, if you're interested, go back and watch it. Make sure you give your comments and critiques on Jennifer, because she loves the feedback.
And if you somehow don't have extra time in your day to go and just devote to looking at some crap, just stay here with us and then just continue to move forward with us.
Okay. I'll let you slide on that one. Now, we also have, who do we have? We have Miss
Good morning, Lisa.
You know Lisa, Jen?
I do not. I do not, but I'm super excited.
Yeah, so y'all already know Blue Heart. Lisa, is this your first time coming to the live, or is it your first? Have you been lurking and now you decided to jump in here? Anyways, Miss Lisa, thank you for jumping in. Your name is now in the randomizer. That's just a warning for you. And then we also have Mr. Kenneth Dunna.
Good morning, Kenneth.
The flavor, the awesomeness. Yes, we're gonna have a heartfelt conversation. Wisdom, we'll try. Inspiration, encouragement, enthusiasm, hell yes. And information that's probably more opinion than it is information, but whatever, right?
Based on experience.
There you go. Based on my experience, which is like the disclaimer for everything when I'm talking. Anyway, okay, good. So yes, there's a lot there. I think I want to talk about this, Jen. I know it's not on the script, but let me ask the question to the Omniverse, and then we'll have this quick conversation while people are dropping their thoughts in the comments. Oh, wait a minute. We got a question from Hopeful Simplicity. Okay. So Miss Izzy says, was family communication a problem and the calendar was a working backward solution? We're a work in progress on getting the teenager to communicate earlier than leaving the house. Jen, I think you're probably best equipped to address this. Please.
I can. So I'm going to tell you communication in my house, specifically because my schedule, I'm in and out of the house a lot and I travel like for days at a time. So one, it was something that I needed to be able to communicate. The other part of this is I have a child that needs to know the schedule and needs to know the plan. And if anything is different, or there's a change in something and it has not been communicated early enough, her anxiety is heightened. She is not in a function. She's not in a good place. And then I go out of town. So not only am I not communicating it right, I am now leaving her in a very heightened space, which then sometimes can last while I'm out of town. So it was one, I needed to do better at communicating what the plan was. But mainly it was because the communication in my house, a lot of the changes and the things that were going to be different were 100% on me. And I was not doing a very good job being proactive in the way I was communicating my plan, which started with the monthly calendar, but then it became, there were some things down the road that like, you didn't tell me you were going to be out of town there. And I already made plans to do this. And again, it was on me because as the parent, which is my job to make sure that, okay, what am I doing? What are we doing as a household? And so I think yes is the answer to your question, but also I needed to be more proactive because of the conditions in my house to make sure that my child had everything she needed to have success when she went to school and she wasn't in a very volatile place because I put her there.
Yeah,
That,
no, I love it. So one thing that pops up, and another add-on I want to make is like you being the parent, you took extreme ownership, right? And
Mhm.
said, wait a minute, I'm contributing to this thing. I can do something differently to produce a different outcome.
Yes.
Where I've been for a very long time is like, I freaking told you, freaking deal with it. Right? Like that's not my problem. That's a you problem. And then the friction just continues and continues and continues. So I think that's that's one thing I want people to like really latch onto. Like, sure, everybody else could do better, and so can you, right? Like, what change can you make? How can you augment the conditions that you're in to produce a more appealing outcome with the people that you're interacting with, making it simple for them? And so I'll give my example because we got to the point, me and my ex, or me and one of my exes, got to the point of using the calendar on the refrigerator. And I was like, this, like, well, let's freaking try it because everything else ain't working. And our problem was when I said that I was flying out of town on Sunday, that meant I'm flying out of town at like 1, 2, or 3 p.m. What she heard was Sunday evening, Sunday night. I never got clear on what that time was. When I said I'll be back on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, what I meant was night. What she heard was in the morning, right? Like we had this disconnection, and so it would create friction. And then I said, okay, from now on, I'm going to email you my schedule, and I would say, here's my flight dates, right? And then the problem would happen, and she's like, oh. I was like, I gave you the information. The problem was that all of that information existed in an inbox, and there was, whatever, 5 or 6 emails to go through to figure out. And then finally it was like, well, let's just make it simple where we can see it, put it on the calendar, fly out at this time, fly in at this time. And it was super like, okay, now we know what the hell's going on. And we could say, wait a minute, Jess, there's a thing I want you at. Oh, okay, well then I'll just fly home a little bit earlier. Like, making it visible and accessible, easily accessible to all of us in the kitchen. Now, I'm sure, Jen, your big annual calendar is not on the refrigerator. It's too big to be on the
It's in the hall. It's in the hall that you literally have to go through to go to the bathroom. You have to go through to go to the kitchen. It's literally in the hallway.
Yes. And some people might be thinking like psychopaths, who's putting that kind of garbage?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My
Who cares?
comes over and they're like, what is happening here? And then they start studying it and they're like, well, where are you going here? And what's this? And what are you doing here? And what is that? And they start asking questions. And so I want to get there. We're not there yet because I want you to finish, but visual. The importance of visual. Yes.
Yes, yes. And also last point to make for you, Miss Izzy, work in progress. Yes.
Yes.
Like it's going to take time to build the habit, especially for people that don't roll that way, right? Like if it's the way you naturally work, it's going to be very easy for you. And it's easy to get irritated with them, but know that you're introducing a new concept and a new habit into their life. And it's going to take time for them to adopt it and start using it as the tool that you intended to be. In Jennifer's case, my BFF, Miss Alex, is amazing. So it just naturally, she's like, oh, this is my language, and she's going to go do her thing. That doesn't happen with everybody. Some people are like, what's the point? We got to put in the time and effort to get them to adjust to the conditions so that we can ultimately all have a better experience. That's my final point, Jen.
Okay. Well, my point I want to make, and Melissa, is that right? That's
yes.
Who we're talking. So Melissa, I want to say this is Jesse and I talk a lot about exhibit the behaviors you seek. And like literally I have to live this and own it. Is that, are you putting your stuff on the calendar? Because for me, that's how it started. I have a child that needs it and she's thriving with it, but I had to put all my stuff on it. Because how can I hold her accountable? And I have another older teenage daughter that is going in and out, very similar to your son all the time. And now it's like, Mom, I need a babysit this day. Do we have plans? So she's slowly working her way into where then it gets added to the calendar. But all my stuff's on the calendar. So they know when I'm going to be in a town, when I have an evening event at home where I'm not flying out, but it's on the calendar that, hey, I have a evening event, so I'm going to be out, or I have a morning coffee or something that I have to do. So I put everything on there. So it started with me And then they're slowly starting to see the value of being able to know, when I know where they're going to be, then it becomes a conversation.
Yeah. And so, folks, I want to make super that look, she says, I'm on my way and swooning already. So 2 points, question, and then, or thought, and then we'll do the question. Anyways, here's the 2 points. One is, if you think you can go directly to the tool without any friction and everything's going to be perfect, you are mistaken.
Correct.
Right? You got to have an agreement, an understanding with the team of the purpose of the tool, what you're trying to, and focused on, look, we're arguing and bickering at each other every day about the same stupid thing. We're going to try this so that we don't argue, so we can argue and bicker about other things. Not the same thing forever and ever, right? And so focus on the purpose. What is the intended outcome? The intended outcome is not for them to use the right color and have perfect penmanship. The intended outcome is to minimize the stress and help people understand what the hell's going on. What's required to make that happen? Using some kind of tool that we can all interface with that is super visual, super visible, so that we can understand what the hell's going on. Like, it's not the other way around. And we always get into, I saw a live stream and they used a calendar. Why ain't y'all using it? Well, because you ain't using it either, ding dong. Okay. Now, here's the question to the audience, to the Omniverse. How are you protecting your time? And what does that say about your priorities?
Great question, Jesse.
Now, but like, while people are like chewing on that and saying, oh shit, should I write this in the chat? Yes or no?
Do it.
Jen, I want to do this.
Okay.
Because Melissa brought it up earlier, right? The word boundaries.
Yep.
What do you think about, and I had this conversation with our brother, Adam Hooch, just the other day. Do you think there's a difference between rules and boundaries?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think that difference is?
Rules usually are not ones that I created. For me, rules are just like whether someone else said, here's the rules, or they're implied. Whatever it is, they didn't start with me. Boundaries start with me.
Oh.
And so that's to me the difference, is that I don't have complete control over the rules, but I have complete control over my boundaries.
Yes. All right. We're on the same page, and it's relative, or it's relevant to this thing that we're talking about. Like, I know we're talking a lot about it, kind of like tactical, use a calendar, but the concept translates to anything. I'm similar to you, Jen, in that rules and boundaries are very different. Rules, I see them as an agreed upon thing. Like, we agree that these are the rules, and there's an understanding that there's going to be some kind of consequence associated with adhering to the rule or deviating from the rule. A boundary is personal.
Okay, I like that.
It's mine. I don't expect you to honor my boundary. I expect me to honor my boundary.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I like that. I don't even think you have to agree on the rules, because sometimes I don't think 75 miles per hour is the right rule. But so we didn't really agree upon it, but I do have to respect it. And so that's to me where, but I also 100% agree that when I set a boundary, if I break it or something happens outside of it, it is 100% on me. It is not like I set a boundary, and I have one, and I have one that's very important to me, is that unless it's like something emergency, I only travel 2 weeks out of the month. Very important to me, because before I set these boundaries, every week I was traveling a day here, whatever. And my family life was chaotic because I couldn't plan anything. And it was like airport, pickup, drop off, getting late. So it was like a crazy month, even though it was about the same amount of days. It was just every week I was traveling. And so I put a boundary in place that the things that I can control, I will only travel 2 weeks out of the month. So as soon as I get travel locked in on 2 weeks, the other 2 weeks get blocked out. So it is not an option for me to go somewhere until the following month. And I work with with Rachel, who helps me with my calendar. And so she knows this. And so as soon as we get things locked in, now I can travel a couple of trips that week if I need to, but it has changed so much at my house, because then I can like be home, and I can be home for, days at a time. And so my family is not all crazy, chaotic all over the place. And my house doesn't look like a wreck all the time.
Well, and I want to say the part that you didn't say is what I've observed in a bunch of people, and I used to do it too, is like I have a boundary, and then I get pissed off at you for
not respecting it. Yes.
For not honoring my boundary.
Yes.
Right. And we'll use your example. I travel 2 weeks out of the month.
Do it.
Right. And you're sending me invites, and I reply pissy, Jen, you already know I only travel 2 weeks out of the month. Why are you sending me this invite on my non-travel week? Right. Like I'm sorry, y'all, but if that's where you're at, you're doing it wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
It is not anybody else's responsibility to maintain my boundary.
Yep.
It is my responsibility to say, hey, okay, you need me. Can we move that to this week? Because otherwise I am occupied. Yep. And then I get to deal with the friction, right? Because what do you mean you're not dedicated, you're not committed, whatever? Or they say, oh shit, my bad, right? And usually what ends up happening is people say, people will honor it.
Yep. But it takes a couple times, Jesse. It takes the first time, Jennifer, we need you here. Well, I'm not available that week, but I'm available this week, next month, and this week, the following month. Well, Jennifer, we really need you here. And I really understand that. And so I can help prep you. I can coach you. I can get everything you need ready for you to lead that meeting. And then I can be there next month. Like it took at first it was a lot of we need you here. Call on a Friday night. We need you here Monday morning to be able to help us lead, whatever. And it was because that's where they are, not where I was. And so I had to go, hey, I'm not available. No problem. I found something else. Okay, I understand. Can you come next month? Like it took a bit. And that's the hardest part, I think, for people, because we like to serve, Jesse. Like that's where our heart is. We want to help. My role is facilitator. My role is to support projects. Like that is my role. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing my job. But I also know I will be worthless for them if I do not protect the time that I have to be able to show up and be on point and to be my best self. And that is why now they know it. Now I get emails, Jennifer, are you available? When can you come? That's the difference now.
Yes. And it's not, I want to be clear with people, like this is not a power trip thing.
No,
right?
no.
This is just having healthy understanding, healthy communication, so that people understand like what's the rule, what are the rules of the games, how are we playing this thing, and people will adjust. And if they can't, then maybe you need to adjust. It's a touchy-feely thing until it kind of settles down. But back to the point, right? We're talking about the second S in the 5S system, set in order. And so, and applying this to our personal, yes, we're talking a lot about calendar, schedule, all this stuff, but because it's an easy framework to have the conversation around in terms of your example, you set your calendar in order. 2 weeks out of the month is when you travel. And what does that do? That helps you show up better for people at work. It helps you show up better for people at home. It helps you be better. Now, at the onset, I'm sure it was uncomfortable, and there's risk, right, of people feeling let down, or and you have all these things running in your head saying, Jen, like you're not committed and dedicated, and what's this going to mean for my career? Oh my God. Yes. And guess what? It's been pretty damn awesome. And so there is going to be some work to do, but do the damn work and you'll have an amazing outcome. Now we got an old timer, Mr. Denver. Thank you for dropping the good morning in the comments, because now your name is in the randomizer.
And hopefully we'll see you at Congress in Arlington, because that's where I ran across him last. I know.
Well, speaking of that, this big annual calendar thing, what's the relationship between that and Congress?
Oh my gosh, Jesse. We have so much. We have so much on one. It's a whole week. It's a whole week that I have had to block out on my calendar for October.
Yes.
And again, we're in like July. So why does that matter? Well, it matters for my family and for me specifically. One, because I'm co-chairing it with Keon. And so it is literally a week-long event that has every day somebody there and will, and I'm engaged in the whole week. And it's here locally. So it should be like no big deal. I'll just go to work and then I'll come home. No, because we have evening events, we have morning events and stuff. And so it's a week-long event, but it's in October. It's while school's going on. And so I'm able to already have that on the calendar. They already know that week is I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be here. But also they, I can plan for it and I can predict. And there's just so much that week that I'm so excited about that I think I could do that the rest of the show. So I'm trying not to get diverted.
Well, isn't one of the keynote speakers the guy that produced that big giant annual calendar?
Yes, Jesse Eitzler. He's the one that gave me that. He's the one that created the big ass calendar that he says, looking at things holistically and putting things up there and visually and being able to put things and move things around and everyone gets to see it. It's all one focal point. Yes, absolutely. It's where it came from.
Yeah. So y'all already know, plan your trip to Arlington and come take selfies with me in Denver. All right. So we got a couple points here on the boundaries.
Okay.
Mr. Jim says, I haven't read that book. It looks like I need to. The book Boundaries was eye-opening to me. Many of the issues I see are because people don't set or communicate clear boundaries. Yes, right? It's after the fact. You pissed me off. You hurt my feelings. Like, okay, well, I didn't know. And like, if you're in my space, I cross boundaries. I don't do it on purpose. I'm just feral. Like, I don't understand what like the normal expectations or pleasantries should be. And you got to tell me, like, I promise I'm not doing it on purpose. Yes, there was a time I violated boundaries on purpose, but now I'm clueless to it. And you can't hint it to me.
No, you have to be very clear and very concise.
And I'm like, oh, you don't want me to do that again. Cool. I won't do it again. Melissa says, preach. Boundaries are hard to get set. Yes. But once mine were in place, I found peace in those instead of others' expectations. Right. And so let's go a little deeper there. Damn, Melissa, you're bringing it today. Another way I think about boundaries is when I started learning to establish my own boundaries, what it meant was I stopped living or playing up to the expectations of others.
Yes.
I started getting form and definition to what expectations I wanted to live by. And so it did give me freedom. It was uncomfortable because I knew it wasn't going to be popular. But I had to break free of all, I say all, not meaning all, because there's still some, like I take a shower, even though I don't want to, but because people won't like me if I'm funky, right? That's an external expectation. But anyways, me designing my own boundaries required me to release or even violate some expectations that are out there in the world, whether it's family or, society as a whole, in order to establish boundaries that were valuable to me. Am I getting too deep in the weeds?
No, you know what it reminds me of, Jesse? Have you seen The Runaway Bride, the movie? It reminds me, so Julia Roberts is in there, and it's about every time she goes to get engaged with someone, and then she leaves right before the wedding. But as they're reflecting, every one of them like their eggs a certain way, and she liked her eggs the same exact way they liked it. And then the next person liked them over easy or scrambled or whatever. Yep. And then she adjusted every time. And so to me, you said it, but I want you to hone in on it but we have to be clear on what it is we want first. We have to be clear. So if we're making adjustments for people because we haven't even figured it out yet, we're going to continue to make these floundering decisions and be trying to figure things out. We've got to kind of have some self-reflection, and we've got to stop and go, I'm not okay with this. What is it that I want?
Yes. And that's a really, really hard deep conversation to have with yourself.
Yes.
You and I talk about this a lot, but one of the things, and I haven't always been this way, it's how I am now. It's what it is the need or want to be in a romantic relationship. I don't have that need or want anymore. Maybe it's a need that I'm suppressing, whatever, but it's not something that I feel like I need. And like, it was the number one thing that helped. And I'm going to answer this question since nobody in the Omniverse answered it. How are you protecting your time, and what does that say about your priorities? I used to feel like the fact that I didn't want to be in a romantic relationship made me feel like I thought and felt like there was something wrong with me, like I'm a bad guy. Like that's really,
yeah.
So it was the catalyst to me getting a therapist. And that's how I started there. Like, hey, like the non-state mandated therapy, because I did a lot of therapy that was mandated by the state of Texas. Anyways. And that was my note. She's like, what do you want to work on? I said, well, here's the deal. Like, I don't have any hope, need, want, appetite to be in a romantic relationship. Everybody around me is in one. And I get questioned, like, why not? And like, I just don't, I need to understand if I'm a good guy or a bad guy. Like, is there something twisted in my head that I'm not seeing? And so in terms of, and I had to come to terms with the fact, like, it's okay that I don't. And people are going to look at me sideways because I live a solitary life. I absolutely love it. And so one of the ways, like, how am I protecting my time? And what does it say about my priorities? How do I protect my time? I don't date, right? I don't. Now, that's not to say that I'm not attracted to like super intelligent, accomplished women, because brother, believe me, I am. But I know that if I cross the line of attraction to, take it any further, I am not going to give it the amount of time that it actually deserves. And so that's how I protect my time. Is I see a cutie pie and like, holy moly, she's smart and strong and ambitious and courageous. Like, yeah, I gotta run, I gotta go the other way, because I'm not going to be able to contribute to the relationship as much as I should. And that's why, because my priorities are all the other things I have going on. And I'm not okay with sacrificing time and energy from all the other things that I'm tinkering with to do this other thing. And what it does, I could stay level. I don't have the stress of shit. I got to get home. I got to call her. I got to right. Like, it totally stabilized my life in a new way. I don't recommend it for everybody because, it's a different life. But that's how I protect my time. And it is clear to everybody, like, oh yeah, that is not Jesse's priority. Jesse's priority is whatever, everything else. What do you think, Jen?
Well, I want to make a comment. So you got clear on what you want, but you also got super clear on what you weren't willing to do.
Yes.
And I think we forget that, yes, this is what I want. And so now I know what I want, so I can build my life around it. I think we also need to spend some time with ourselves. What am I not willing to do? And like, Jesse and I, we're very aligned in a lot of things. And the things I do and the people I serve and what brings me joy, like, those are things that were a priority to me, which means I was not willing to give space to other people. And when I'm not willing to do that. So if I start dating somebody, if I start whatever, like, I'm not willing to sacrifice these things over here, my kids and my, what I'm able to do to give you time. If I can get clear on that, I don't even got to go down that road. I don't even got to feel bad about it. I don't have to feel guilty. I can just not make that decision. So yes, get clear on what you want, but also get clear on, what, I'm just not willing to do that.
Yeah. And I love that, Jen. And I'm going to give everybody a cheat code. Like, if you're on the fan, like, that you're in situations that are sucking the energy and life out of you, or even what I think is worse is if you're in relationships and engagements with people that are like, man, those are worse. Because, like, you can't, like, whatever. Like, if I'm not freaking excited, hyped, pumped to see you and hang out with you, we're not gonna.
And we're not Jesse, get clear, we're not anti-relationship. Like please know, we're not bashing it. We have friends, we have people that we see so much love and so much connection that that is awesome. And we love to be able to celebrate that. But we also know there's a lot of people that are making decisions every day and making sacrifices for the meh, for just to be somewhere, and it's limiting their possibilities.
It's stealing it 100%. And so here's the cheat code, because I know how hard it is to get clear on what you want. Mm-hmm. It's way easier to get clear on what the hell you don't want.
Yes.
So start that list down. What do you not want? And start there and start putting things in order, setting things in order to minimize and eliminate all of that bullshit. I'm sorry, stuff. So that you can get clear about what the hell it is precisely what you want. Man, we got
people. You got to bring in people. We got people.
Okay, Miss Heather, what's up, my sister? She says, oh, I love this. I protect my time by putting my family's schedule number one. Amazing. Their school schedule breaks are my first level that I block off time on my calendar, and then work gets filled in after. Amazing. And that's one of the elements that I built into the self-first framework. I gotta remember the name. It's like you got to go and plug in time for you, commit to you in your calendar, because if you don't, guess what? Everybody else's bullshit's going to be in there.
Yep.
So beautiful example, Heather. She goes and she blocks off holidays for the family so that nobody else can invade that space, and then the work gets filled in after. Simple. Well, doing the keys is simple. The conversations and everything else takes a little more work. Thank you for that, Jen. We also got Mr. Aaron. He says, good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good to see you. Oh, look, we got Miss Janice.
Good morning, Janice.
What's that?
Is she a blue heart?
I think Janice is a blue heart. Janice, I think this is the first time that you've commented. That means you're a blue heart. So people are going to swarm you to connect with you.
Connect.
She says, I totally agree, Jesse. I've done a lot of work on myself, so I'm not willing to compromise at this time. Amen, sister. I'm with you, right? Like, just be good to you. That's the game. Mm-hmm. Now, all right, last comment. I have a shirt with a strawberry on it that says, I'm no longer interested in shrinking for your comfort. You can choke on it.
I need that shirt. Like, I'm a shirt fanatic. I'm a t-shirt fanatic. So please send me where I can get that shirt.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Melissa. That's so, what is that? You can choke on it. I love my single peaceful life. Yes. That's not to say that you can't be in a relationship and have a peaceful life. Because I know a lot of people that I'm like, how do y'all do that? That's so,
I know.
It's like mystical to me. Like, y'all are amazing, because I don't know how to do that. Janice gives us the happy face. Oh, man. So we got a bunch of people all of a sudden in the randomizer. So, folks, quick reminder, at the top of the hour, we're doing the randomizer. And so if you're lurking and you got a thought, a cheat code, something you want to share, drop it in the comments so you can get in the raffle so we can hang out here in the next few weeks. All right, Jen, what do you say we move on to a heavier question?
Oh, gosh. I mean, do I have a choice? Do I have any boundaries in this situation?
So we had a bunch of questions. Well, we had a handful of them, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like we've been on the calendar idea, which is good. I think it's helpful because it gives form to some of the easier things. Mm-hmm. So here is the question to the Omniverse and to you, Jen.
Of course.
How do you apply this to your relationship with yourself?
Well, this has been the hardest thing. Like, I can outward, like, that's my job. So I can do a lot of things outside of me, and I can feel like, okay, I can control this. Because, we love thinking we have control of things. And it was, as much as I stayed busy and I stayed active and I did all the things I was supposed to do, like, no one saw behind that, like, that armor and that guard of everything that was behind it, which was me. And so no one saw that because I was doing all these other really cool things. And I think a lot of you and I conversations, a lot of questions from you, or even, spending some time with myself, let me realize like all of that's great, but Jennifer, there's a whole lot of work to do back here behind this armor. And so for me, it started with you and I talking, and I'm just like, I don't spend time with myself. I just don't, because I don't have time. I'm like, okay, well, what could that look like? And we tried a bunch of different things, and it came down to, I just need to not be doing anything. I need to, for me, it was, we tried, drawing, writing, we did a lot of other things. And for me, it was walking. So one, getting some physical activity is always great, but two, walking and not listening to a book, not on the phone, sometimes on the phone, but not usually, but getting like walking and setting and being able to get away and just let my brain go. But like, yes, and it needs to be on my calendar. And I think for me, that was the difference between how can I help me is number one, it needs to be on my calendar. So now from 6 to 7 in the morning, if you call me, I will be walking and you can catch me and we can talk, but it's on my calendar. So then I know, my kids know, everyone else knows that between that time, like I will be walking. And it has allowed me, and you and I talk about this a lot, is because I do that early in the morning and that's when my brain is the most active. Like when I get back from those walks, I'm like, like I'm writing stuff down, I'm capturing stuff, I'm doing a lot of things because my brain now has so much more capacity to like think through ideas. And that it took me, Jesse, how long? Like 3 years to finally realize this is my magic
Yep.
time and my magic space. So it was a struggle because that's me being selfish and setting time for me. And that is literally where my brain was for the longest time is, but I could be doing this, but I could be doing this. And finally it was like, but this is what I need to be doing so I could do so many other things better.
Yes. Oh, just thank you, Jen. You bring up two really, really important points that we got to make sure the tribe does not miss it. One, 3 years, right? It took 3 years. You've been working on it for at least 3 years. Working on what? Working on like spending time with yourself.
Yes.
Figuring out what was the recipe, what were the conditions that facilitated what that needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is trial and error. You got to, there's best practices, journaling and meditating and breathing exercises. Like there's all kinds of stuff, yoga, working out. Like our friend Kevin Carey up there in DFW, his thing is working out. Like when he's working out, that's when it's happening. Yep. That's him time. Not me. Like when I work out, I'm working out and I'm like, God, I just want to get this damn thing over with. My brain isn't floating around. Anyways, point being is figuring out what are the conditions that are best for you to spend time with yourself. Took a lot of time, a lot of trial and error, a lot of practice. That's one big thing. The other big thing is overcoming that guilt of I'm being selfish. I should be working on this. I should be doing that. I should be checking the clothes. I should be cook. I should like shooting all over yourself. Mm-hmm. And giving yourself, honoring yourself by making space for you in your calendar. That is not easy.
I think that's the third one. I think you said like getting over the guilt. I think the third step is adding it to the calendar.
Yeah. Okay, fair. So you got to get the head stuff, and then it's like, oh shit, now I need to put it in the calendar. Yes. Oh, it's real. Oh my god. Yeah. Yes. I thank you, because for me it's like I'm plugging that shit in, and that's just the way it is. Oh my god, we got some beautiful comments. Miss Sarah.
Good morning, Sarah.
Just hope y'all had a wonderful 4. She's just waking up. Good for you. I'm glad.
Yes.
And if anybody, like, this has now become a dating live stream.
I love you, Aaron, so much.
If you want Aaron's top 10 list, the most eligible bachelor on LinkedIn, here's the list. Make sure you fill them. I'm joking with you, Aaron. Love you, brother. And she says, I'm still sleeping between 6 and 7 a.m. So last chance. Oh, we got Mr. Sana. What's going on? Sana says, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining in the conversation, my brother. We're fixing to do the randomizer here in probably a couple of minutes, but I want to like continue on this. How do you apply this to your relationship with yourself? For me, and again, I'm going to keep it in the context of like schedule because it's easier, rather, so that the people out there, the tribe, the folks in the Omniverse can at least start there. Because then it gets like you can broaden it, right? But when I'm using my calendar and time, that's a nice framework or unit of measure to like manipulate, and we can put our hands on it. And so one of the big things for me was discovering, like you said, it took a lot of time for me to understand like how to best leverage my energy. And so between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m., that's me time. That's my high leverage time. And so I'm going to do high leverage activities during that time. What are high leverage activities? It's my thinking time, it's exercise, and it's one like super impactful thing that is related to my business. Like the most impactful thing of the day that's going to have like, not that's due today, that's going to have long-term implications. That's the thing that I work on between 5 and 10 a.m. Why? Because if I start working, doing work, administrative, doesn't matter, I will start at 5 a.m. and I will go all the way to 9 p.m. and just freaking work. And that's not bad because I'm getting stuff done and I'm delivering for people, But it is not honoring myself. And so from 5 to 10 a.m., high leverage activities. I understand for me, that is my space of time where I can do like big picture, creative, problem solving, exciting things. 10 to 2, 3 is like meetings, calls, right? Because now I need some social interaction and I can focus. And then 3 and after is like, okay, now let me do the ticky-tacky button push anything because my brain is like, yeah, Jess, we're tired already. Like, okay, cool, let's just do dumb stuff. I don't mean dumb stuff. I mean like, simple order of operations type thing. And so in terms of how I apply it to my relationship with myself, because I don't always do it, right? Every now and then I'm traveling and I'm interacting or delivering training for my clients and whatever. So that disrupts my standard. But for me, when I do those things, when I set my schedule that way, I am much more content with my life than when I'm doing it any other way. And so that's how I apply this to my relationship with me. And when I'm content with myself, I'm learning and growing and serving at degrees that I never, ever, ever could have anticipated. What do you think, Jen?
I love that. And you and I know our operating systems are very similar. So the mornings, usually when Jesse and I do have conversations in that early morning, like the ideation and the experimentation and the what about this, and then it builds into something else, is usually happening during that time.
Yes. So all right, y'all, it is time for the randomizer. If you've made a comment, drop some wisdom or questions in the chat. Your name got put in the randomizer, and we're about to show it. Which view? I like this view more better. All right, Jen, it's time for the sound effects.
Here we go.
Oh, Lisa!
Yay!
Awesome. Lisa, congratulations. I'll be DMing you if I can. I'll be DMing you or I'll be LinkedIn stalking you to get your email, and I'll send you some calendar invites, and I'll also DM you to see how that works. So anyways, how do I do this? How do I get out? Stop sharing. Congratulations on winning the randomizer. Okay, there we are.
And if you want to know more about it, Sarah is one of our victims.
Yes, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah knows. She's been living it for over a year, Jen, that we've been connected and having fun with Miss Sarah. Look, Aaron says, congratulations. And look, we got another one. The hopeful Melissa say, yeah, Lisa. I love it. All right.
I love we have new voices today. I think that's what I'm most excited about. We've had people that have engaged that we have not seen before. And anytime we're growing our tribe, my heart explodes.
Oh, me too. I think it's the ultimate. Just that freaking anybody shows up. And then like you said, when we get new people, like so awesome. So thank you all for like being gracious with your time. We got an after party that we'll talk about here in a second. And so we got about 10 minutes, Jen. I want to flash Heather's. I don't want to flash Heather. I want to flash Heather's comment on the screen. And then we'll transition into closing thoughts. So Heather says, I have a category on my calendar that is self-care. Ding, ding. So I can see if I am missing this. I am more reactive currently. Nice, taking ownership. And I'm still working to plan that time more proactively. It's a work in progress, girl. Thank you for like being vulnerable and putting that out there, Miss Heather. And so, oh look, Sarah already said, I'm connected to Lisa. I can message you both if you need.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
How it is, baby. All right, Jen. So we had this conversation. There's this whisper of an idea out there about a relaunch of the Lean in Love thing. And there's also another echo of a whisper about another book. What are your closing thoughts? What do you want to ask people? What do they need to know before we sign off here?
Oh my gosh, I have so many things. So again, you and I did Lean in Love based solely on personal relationships. So family, work, all the things that we do outward, and how can we do better? And we use 5S kind of as the framework. And then through some thinking time and all that, I had this idea, and then I shared it with Jesse, and then we made it bigger than even my brain could even think it could be. But it's also like as much as we need to think about those relationships, everything starts with us. And so the thought was, how can we also apply these things to the personal relationship we have with ourselves? And we suck at that. I'm just going to say it's usually the very last thing that we're thinking about. And it's where if we focused on it more, those other relationships would be better. And so that is where we're kind of dabbling and playing around, and also mixing it into these live streams as to kind of how they go together and how they balance each other, because that could be also another thing that we can dig into and share and bring in comments and all the things that we did the first time around, but also focusing on those relationships, that relationship we have with ourselves and how we're doing it right or wrong.
Yeah.
And so
I love it. So I'm dropping the links to the after party on all the different things out there: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. But I particularly love this idea of relation, like how we do the 5S in relation, like 5S idea, and apply it to our relationships with ourselves, because it's the one relationship that I have neglected the most for in my life. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I'm not the only one that has neglected his or her relationship with themselves. And so it excites me that we're even going to have this conversation, because I feel like it's going to be a messy, wonky conversation.
Absolutely. I think it'll be messy. It'll be, I'm going to say even ugly sometimes, because like there's some things we've got to deal with and we've got to confront before you can like say, yes, it's me. I'm the problem. Yes, this is what I have to do. And it's so easy to project it out to other people. And it's their fault.
Yeah. 100%. And so I guess my question, the thing that's tingling in my head is like, would that help anybody?
Yes.
So that's like there's layers to this, right? Would it help anybody? A. B, do they even want it? Right? Like, does anybody even want to have the conversation about having a better relationship with yourself? Is it? Well, here's why I'm like, this is kicking around in my head. Because to me, it's an ultra important conversation, and it's absolutely something that transformed my life. But rather, and I think people are having the same whispery conversation in their head, but they're not comfortable having that conversation overtly out where everybody else can hear it. And so the challenge is, if it's this really uncomfortable whispery thing, do people really want it, but just aren't comfortable to go out and have the conversation? And are we misinterpreting people's, we'll say, guarding themselves as a lack of interest? Does that make sense?
It does, Jesse, because if that's it, Jesse and I are fully committed to digging into the uncomfortable part.
Yes, 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 and yes. And so, well, here's a signal. Here's a light signal. Miss Melissa says, more
She's
time
my
with you two
she's
in
my
this
new
community.
favorite person.
She's the, oh, I keep telling her, like, girl, you just keep bringing that in. She is, yeah, she's something. She's special. Heather says, I can feel guilt when I spend time for self-care because I feel I should be spending that time with my family and girls. That's the thing, right? For me, that's the relationship with the self thing that we, like, on the surface, it feels like guilt because, well, you already know this, Heather, right? Like root cause analysis, 5 whys. Like, sure, I think this conversation about our relationship with ourselves is asking those layers of, okay, sure, we understand the guilt part, and we understand societally that what we should and shouldn't do, and what's selfish and what's not selfish. And so I think most of us stop there and say, yeah, these are normal behaviors, normal expectations. I'm just going to fulfill them. But understanding, like, why is that even, or rather, maybe not understanding, but exploring, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this conflict internally? Like, yes, I feel guilty, but I'm not doing anything wrong. What's that? Where is that coming from? Right. Yes. And why do I sacrifice me so that I don't feel guilty about doing these other things that are freaking not life-threatening? Right? Yes. They're not going to ruin anybody's life. It's just, and so I know it's a super, super deep conversation, but again, folks, let us know if it's something that is of interest to you to have this conversation about 5S'ing your relationship with yourself. It's on the board. Yes. And with that, I've put the link to the after party. I think I put it in all the things. And Miss Lisa, congratulations, because you are the winner of the randomizer. All right, Jen, what do you say we sign off and then get ready for that?
Yes, give them, and then we'll see some, hopefully we'll see some people in a couple minutes.
Couple minutes?
Yes.
Now you got to sing the chicken banana song, Jen.
I'm not chicken banana.